Hello, welcome back. We have another Outriders video today. It's going to be all about the Technomancer. This character, like the other three, is really fun to play. Have been enjoying the absolute crap out of the demo. Hopefully you have been as well. What character have you been maining? I just keep saying, I'm going to main this one, I'm going to main that one, and then I play another one, and they're even more fun than the last one. So couldn't be more confused right now about what I'm going to play, but this character is awesome at sniping, great for team play, awesome utility with his turrets, his rockets, his interrupt, and his shrapnel mine. In this video, I want to discuss some of the information I think will be helpful for new players checking out the Technomancer, including gear attributes to look for, potential builds, and some cool skills that you can use right now in the demo. If you find it fun, helpful, or whatever, you just enjoy the sound of my sweet, succulent, soothing voice, feel free to sub. Shout out to everyone who subbed for yesterday's Pyromancer video. The Technomancer is going to benefit greatly from sniper rifles and other long-range weaponry. He has insane sustain by doing damage with his guns, and he has some pretty cool skills as well that we're going to check out. The first thing I wanted to go over was going to be how I want to build my Technomancer upon the full game's release. I think the Technomancer has 3 different incredibly viable trees you can choose to go down here. Don't think you can pick wrong. Top tree is going to be Pestilence. That's going to buff up your weapon damage as well as your blighted rounds and decay abilities. Really good for damage dealing. The middle tree, Tech Shaman, is going to be really good for sustain as well as buffing your cryo turret. The bottom tree is Demolisher, which is going to be buffing your ordnance, like your rocket skills, as well as the minigun skill, which I know you get in the future, and buffing your anomaly power. I think I'm going to go up the middle tree, Tech Shaman, because I want to buff the cryo turret out. I think the cryo turret's the coolest part of this character. The other skills are really awesome, especially the rockets. I think those are fantastic. But for team play, I think the middle tree is going to be Bay. I think it's going to be amazing because eventually you unlock the ability to heal your teammates with your turret. That is super helpful, and I think that's going to be very useful for this character. Blighted rounds decay. It's going to fill your weapon with a toxic magazine. It does a lot of damage, and I found the skill to be incredibly powerful. My favorite part about the blighted rounds skill is that you get an instant free reload, and this game has such a ridiculously long reload time for all the guns that I just absolutely loved the free reload. Shrapnel skill, and this is basically a proximity mine. You throw it and it does a ton of damage. 315 damage in the demo is a lot of damage. Something I wanted to point out on the shrapnel is that it took me a long time to figure out how to aim this thing, man. I was missing every throw, and I was talking to my friends. I was like, how the hell do you throw this mine? And they're like, bro, you gotta hold it. Okay, well, that's the most boss piece of input ever. Instead of just flicking whatever the button is for your respective console or computer, you can hold that input and it will bring up the icon for cooking it, and you can see where the line goes and throw it exactly where you like it. The next skill is the one that I am going to build my character around, the cryo turret. First thing that's important to note is that your turret does not life leech on its own. I have run into some skills on gear that does enable the cryo turret to give you life leech. The second thing is that it's very YOLOable. The turret does not have a ton of HP stuff. It will get melted, it will get deleted, it will get destroyed really quickly. So I like to put it at a nice distance from the enemies. And another thing that you should pay attention to is make sure to focus the enemies down. Cryo turret does not do a lot of damage on its own. It is much better at crowd control and slowing enemies. Again, 9 damage per shot is not a lot of damage, so don't expect your cryo turret to be chewing through your opposition. The last skill that I have access to on the demo is the pain launcher. This skill didn't ever leave my my setup as soon as I unlocked it. The skill is really fun. They do a good amount of damage, and I saw readily available gear from the merchants in town that buff the crap out of this skill. And this one isn't going to have any sort of AI lock-on assistance like the cryo turret where it'll seek out enemies to aim. This one is going to launch a barrage of rockets in a cone in front of where you throw it. The pain launcher fires the rockets in an arc, and that means that you can shoot over walls, and it is so nice for dealing with those snipers that can just ping you from across the map and they're just behind their wall. We talked a little bit about skills here. I wanted to go over some gear stuff. I managed to get mostly blue gear on this character, so nothing crazy. Haven't found any legendaries myself yet, but this is what I like looking out for. Like I said, I like buffing the turret, the cryo turret, and the rocket barrage. I did see some cool bonuses for gear for the toxic rounds. I believe they're on my boots. If you are really enjoying those toxic rounds, I would suggest this. This skill is going to increase critical damage by your toxic rounds by 30%. Moving on to the weapons, something you should pay attention to is how sick the snipers are on this character. Just a friendly reminder that the class does benefit from 15% bonus damage to long-range weapons. And some of the skills I really liked were extra damage over time. Another one that I liked a lot, shots generate shield. So your character benefits 15% more for anything that increases life leech. So this weapon life leech is going to have a 15% multiplier on it. This Technomancer has proven to be very fun to play, very sustainable, and also different from the other characters. I think it's important to note that this game does a great job of differentiating between the 4 different classes. Some games I've played, not naming any names about a particular anthem or whatever, but some of those games have had a lot of homogeneity between the characters. Like, they all play pretty similar. I think that in this game they did a great job of making sure that it does not feel that way. You can change your experience up completely by picking a different character, and I really appreciate that. This video is slowly winding down to a conclusion. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, potentially left a like, maybe even asked me a question down below in the comments. And speaking of comments, I have done videos for all 4 of the classes from my demo playthroughs on each of the characters. If you have any ideas or would like to see a particular subject addressed in a future video, drop it down below. I love ideas, and when people want to contribute to what they'd like to see on a YouTube channel, I think that is pretty cool. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope to catch you next time. We out.